In today's video, I want to share with you a great strategy that I use to help organize my lesson and enhance my students' learning experience. And that is to create a digital agenda. I'll show you how I set it up, and I'll share with you the positive impact that it's had on the teaching learning experience. My name is Marcella Cooper. I've been teaching middle school and high school for over 17 years in many different countries and many different school systems. I'm excited to share my insights, my experience, and practical strategies that have helped me to develop into a more productive and effective teacher. As teachers, we all want lessons that flow smoothly from start to finish, whether you're in the physical classroom or remote teaching. But with remote teaching, it's especially important. With remote teaching, there are so many things that can get in the way, like technical difficulties. When I was teaching remotely in Thailand to my students in Beijing, at one point, the internet cut off in my apartment. I madly raced down to the condo office and begged them to hotspot me for internet. And so there I was in the condo office hallway with my iPhone, talking to my students in Beijing and walking them through the rest of the lesson. Thankfully, because I had my digital handout, the class was able to go on without me. My assistant in the classroom had the clear classroom plan that had all the links and the information and the images and resources that were needed for the rest of the class to continue. But that couldn't have happened if I didn't have my digital agenda that I had already given my students and my teaching assistant. Besides internet interruptions, another difficulty that teachers may have in their planning is that you plan to use this amazing app and the app doesn't work. And if you don't have a backup plan that you can use that second, sometimes that's enough to derail your entire lesson. I learned this when I wanted to use Flipgrid, which I still currently do use. Flipgrid is a platform where students can upload their videos and then respond to other students' videos with their own videos. It really is an amazing collaborative platform. However, when I first used it with my students, again, when I was in Thailand remotely teaching to my students in Beijing, I found out that some of them, for various reasons, couldn't upload their videos to Flipgrid, but I had not provided them with an alternative. Now, with my digital handouts, I provide them with the Flipgrid link right away. I also, on that handout, give them the instructions that if they are unable to access Flipgrid or upload their videos to Flipgrid, that they should send their videos to me through my Teams account or to upload to Microsoft Streams and send me the link. Basically, I provide them alternatives so that I do get their videos and I can assist them in that activity. Again, the digital handout provides almost like a proactive approach for planning so that students know what to do just in case what you originally planned doesn't work out. Another problem that I had with remote teaching was that in the beginning, I was giving students information piecemeal. So as I was teaching them, I would say, oh, okay, here's this website that you need to go to, and I would type the website into the chat, and students would go to this website. Or I would say, okay, we're gonna use Flipgrid now. Here's the Flipgrid code that you need to go to. And I would type that into the chat box, and then students would go from there. The feedback that I got from students and the feedback that I got from my own experience was that giving students information piecemeal like this was disorganized for me because I constantly had to keep searching for these links, had to keep searching for what was coming up next to give to my students. As well, the students felt like they didn't have a smoothly flowing lesson that had a continuation from beginning to end. And so again, the handout really helped me with that because the students could see from activity 1 to activity 4, activity 5, they could see the progression of the lesson, they could see what was coming up next, the links were there, they didn't have to wait for it to be uploaded. All the information was there for them from the beginning of the lesson. It also helped me because I would simply say, okay, now let's go to activity 2. And the students would be able to follow along. There would be a smooth progression of lesson. So let's get to the part of how to set it up, or at least how I set it up, because I think that a digital agenda is flexible enough that you could probably use many different platforms, many different formats. So here's what I did. First, let me show you a handout that I've created for a previous class. In this English language acquisition class, we were taking a look at how society is organized through the institution of marriage. Specifically, we're taking a look at arranged marriage. So I've created a headline that is memorable, table of contents so students can quickly find the activity that I refer them to. I have the activities clearly laid out with the timing for the students. I have the links for the videos and the Microsoft form, which is a form of quiz. And at the end here, I make sure that I have the activity that I'm going to do using Flipgrid, but I also make sure that I have an alternative process for them just in case that activity doesn't work. So let me quickly walk you through how I would create a document. Memorable title here, and then I highlight it and just make sure here that I do it as the title. So next, you want to plan your first activity. Next, you want to make sure you have a clear description here for your activity. Make sure to plan an alternative process if needed, just in case your app doesn't work as you need it. Also, make sure to include links to apps and resources as needed. So for example, I have this link here. I'm just going to take it and hyperlink it to make it very clear for my students. All right, and so you have your first activity. Let's pretend that we have maybe 3 activities. Okay, so I'm going to number this 1, 2, and 3. I would put in pictures here as I did before, just to make it a little bit more engaging. You might want to put a rubric or some sort of scoring or rating system you want here, anything that you want. You need to make sure that each activity is heading 1. And then if you want subheadings, like for example in activity 3, maybe you, as I did in my other thing, you want a separate section where they can upload. And then you have your upload instructions here. So instead of heading 1, you can just make this heading 2. You just go to references now and you add a table of contents in whatever style that you want. And it's already here. Activity 1, 2, and 3. With a subheading of your upload. And if you want to go to activity 1, activity 2, activity 3. This really helped me overcome a lot of the issues that I had in terms of organizing my lesson. I could simply say, all right guys, time to move on to activity 2. And students clearly knew that this is what we were doing next. As well, the students weren't getting information piecemeal. The students had the lesson from beginning to end, right at the beginning of the lesson. As well, one of the other issues was apps not working. And so by providing clear instructions here and by providing an alternative process if needed, it really adds that proactive planning aspect to your lesson. And students know that if something doesn't work out, this is what they can do instead. And so there's no excuses as to, I didn't know what to do, the app didn't work, and so I couldn't get my work done. I'd love to hear if you feel like digital agendas would be useful in your classroom, whether you're remote teaching or classroom teaching. I myself am going to bring the digital agenda into my classroom, even though I developed it as a remote teacher. But I'd love to hear from you, so share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd also love it if you press that like button if you found this video useful. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video with new insights, experiences, reflections, and practical strategies to share with you. I'll see you in the next video.